Well, I've been checking if someone have write me down some mail telling something about the connection, but they don't. So I'm afraid that people are a bit late or simply not coming. So, Beltran, if you want to start.
Yeah, I think we should start, yes.
Okay, then. So, Jace, I will let's open the speakers because we are just a few of us here. So I think there won't be any problem about the audio synchronization. So please let me introduce you, Jason Beltran Micaus. He's from Gemalto. He's the General Account Manager. So he's going to introduce us a little bit about NFC. And if you want, you can ask some questions in the chat or maybe waiting till the end of the presentation. So we will have a little talk about the presentation. And if you have any question, we will be glad to answer them. So, Beltran, if you want to go ahead, your turn.
Okay, thank you. So, yes, good afternoon, and I hope that maybe we can have more people next time. It's maybe a question of organization, but anyway, Jason, I think we are very happy to host this webinar, and the idea is to tell you about mobile applications for universities. First, because we have some products that have been developed by some universities and that can be made available for all the universities belonging to the Santander University program, and also because we think it's interesting to explain the NFC technology. So the objective of the presentation, the plan. Manu,
sorry,
okay.
1 second.
Is first to have an introduction of NFC, to see what are the use cases for NFC, to see a little bit about the technology, the different type of secure elements or NFC without secure elements. We will discuss all that. And then to see what are the applications, the mobile applications already available for universities, and how these applications can be more or less secure depending on the needs. So starting with the introduction on NFC. NFC means near field communication, and it's the word that is being used in the mobile environment for proximity or contactless with a mobile phone. It's a standard. It has been designed between handset manufacturers, mobile operators about 5 to 10 years ago. And the idea is that we use smartphones in which we have the handset processor as in any smartphone, but we add an NFC controller on the left. This NFC will provide all the functionality for the contactless communication. It is connected to an antenna to make sure that the phone can communicate remotely with the device. And it is also linked to the UICC, so to the SIM card. And this is done by a protocol that is called SWP, Single Wireless Protocol. And that has been defined to make sure that there is a secure connection between the NFC controller and the secure element, in this case, the SIM card. Okay, so this is a very high-level view. I wanted to introduce that just to show what is the technology behind and how NFC handsets are built. So the contactless market already exists in many countries where you know about the usage of contactless cards for public transport. This is being used in the major cities in the world. We also use it for contactless payment. So in many countries today, we start to see contactless payment cards, such as PayPass for the MasterCard systems or PayWave for Visa. And it is also being used for access control. In particular, in the universities, it is well known that the contactless technology is used for access control. But all this is done without any interaction. So it means that the user can only take his card, tap it on a reader, but there is absolutely no interaction between the user and the application, no choice, no selection, nothing that the user can do. And this is exactly what we bring with the mobile NFC. It means that first we are putting all the payment applications, travel, ticketing, smart poster, loyalty, peer-to-peer inside the phone. Okay, so those applications are built inside the phone or inside the application. And on top of that, there is much more interaction than with a single card, because we have a main menu, where the user can select to see account information, to top up some airtime, to use the phone for paying in the public transport, to use it for payment. Well, any type of application, and this brings much more interactivity. We will see it in the examples later on, where the user can, for instance, see the most recent transactions, or can see some information related to some services. So really this brings interaction and integrated services. And it's also a natural evolution of the contactless technology. Contactless started in the years 2000 in the public transport with the MyFare technology that has been adopted widely in many cities for public transport. Then it moved in the years 2010 with the contactless payment cards, for instance, PayPass. And we are now in the mid-2010s, where we see a massive POS, contactless POS deployment. So we see in many countries big investments being done on the POS to replace the magstripe POS or even the contact card POS in Europe by contactless POS. So this will really open the way for a massive usage of NFC in the next few years, because once that you have contactless POS on the field, of course it makes it much easier for phone or mobile phone payment using the same technology. So about the NFC handset trends. NFC has been implemented by handset manufacturers. Last year, they delivered a little bit less than 300 million phones with the NFC feature on a total of 1.8 billion. This year, we expect a little bit more than 400 million, and you see a continuous growth. And by 2018, we expect about 1.3 billion NFC phones sold on the market. That will represent more or less 60% of the total handset shipments in 2018. So we see that with the same way as phone manufacturers have progressively introduced Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS on the handsets, they have started to introduce NFC a few years ago. It's still a minority of the phones. Probably the high-end phones have this feature, but progressively it will be adopted and it will become a default feature on most of the phones. We can see that most of the major handset manufacturers are implementing NFC phones. Of course, Samsung, who is the world leader in mobile handsets, is also the world leader in NFC phones. But LG, Nokia, Motorola, all the Chinese manufacturers as well are adopting this technology. So in the next slide, we can see a few examples of NFC phones. The Samsung Galaxy S5 that was launched in February this year, and that is the Samsung phone the most widely adopted. It has the NFC technology. The previous one, the S4 and the S3, also had NFC. And the big news is the iPhone 6 that was launched about a month ago, and that brings also NFC technology. So it's really a big win for the NFC technology because it's the first time that Apple is launching a phone with the NFC technology. So it really gives a solid ground for the growth of this technology in the next few years. Nokia Lumia 930. So we see that really the best sellers today have NFC functionality. So we basically have two major use cases with NFC. On the left, we can see how we can use the phone as a card emulation, so in a card emulation mode. So if we take the example of the university smart card, where we have various applications such as contactless for contactless access control. We also have payment. We have applications for digital signature in certain countries. We have applications for e-purse. Well, the idea is to replicate all these applications that are today in the card and to put it onto the phone. So by the same way as today we are waving a contactless card in front of a contactless reader, tomorrow we will wave the mobile handset in front of the same contactless reader. So we are really emulating the card. On the right, we see a different mode to use the NFC. It's using the handset as a reader. So in this case, we can use, for instance, the contactless cards that we have in the universities, and we can touch the card against the phone and possibly transmit some information from the card to the phone. So in this case, the phone behaves as a reader, and we already have a few applications that work in this mode. The good thing is that the 7 million Santander University cards that are deployed on the field are all contactless, and they can immediately be used with this type of NFC phones. So one of the applications we have is called PopWings. In this application, we store some information concerning the student, for instance, the name and last name and first name in the student card. And then we have an application on the phone whereby another student can read the card details of his friends. So it's a nice way to exchange contacts. It's a little bit like a business card, but exchanging it through NFC. We can think about other applications where we could store in the card. I mean, each user could decide to store in the card, for instance, its address or email or a few personal details. And this could be used when the phone is used to access web services, and you need to fill some personal details like your address, your email, and so on. You could touch your card against the phone and immediately transfer the information that is stored into the card and fill automatically the web questionnaire. So there are plenty of things that can be thought about in this mode, in this reader mode. We need to explore it more, and the more we have readers on the field, the more we have NFC phones on the field, the more it will become interesting to have this combination of the university smart card and an NFC phone. So continuing on the NFC use cases, we have seen the idea of the mobile payment, and this is starting to be used in quite a few countries. In the US, you have the example of what is now called a soft card, that was called before ISIS, and which is a consortium formed by three main operators, Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T, where they have issued SIM cards with a payment application. So the payment application is stored onto the SIM, and they have agreements with issuers such as American Express or Chase or a few other banks, where a bank customer can decide to have its credentials loaded onto the phone. It means onto the SIM card inside the phone, and by doing this, the user can pay on any contactless POS. So this has started probably now about 2 years ago. There's a continuous investment in this program, And similarly, in a few other countries, we see more and more mobile payment applications using NFC. Retail is also another interesting field for NFC, whereby the user can store a coupon, for instance, onto the phone, and when doing a payment, immediately the application will look for existing coupons. If one of the coupons corresponds to the purchase being done, then it will be automatically redeemed, and the user won't need to do anything. So this combination is very interesting, because paying alone with the phone, well, some people can say, why is it better to pay with my phone rather than with my card? But when you start to put together payments and loyalty couponing information, then it makes a much richer user experience, where probably people will start to use their phone much more. Yeah, maybe we can come back, Manu, on the other use cases. Yeah, so we already spoke about mass transit. We can also use NFC for airline, for boarding passes, for instance, instead of QR codes. We can use it in hotel rooms as hotel room keys. We are already in discussions with some hotel chains where the user can book its room online, and at the same time as the booking is done, the user downloads a key onto the phone, so that when he gets to the hotel, he doesn't need to go through check-in. He can go immediately to the room that has been designated and open the door using the mobile NFC. Education, well, that's exactly the field where we are with Santander Universities for student ID cards. Enterprise for employee badges, residential events, where there are quite a lot of use cases where we can start to use NFC. So the wallet is a very interesting concept. We call it the wallet, or we can call it a mobile app, or we can call it any other way, but basically it's a mobile app that replaces all cards. So the same way as people have in their wallet today payment cards, loyalty cards, receipts, coupons, transport cards, business cards, corporate badge, driver license, tomorrow they will have all this into the phone. And they will need a wallet, which is a kind of menu, an administration tool that will enable them to select the card they want to use, or to look at some of the details related to their payment cards or their loyalty cards or whatever. Okay, so this is what is called the wallet, and this is more used in the payment industry. Maybe in other environments we use the word mobile app, or in the Santander project we call it also the app TWI. But basically it's a menu that allows some kind of interactivity between the user and the applications. So in the world of universities, we are moving from what we call the TWI. The TWI is the name in Spanish for University Smart Card, to the app TWI. So really moving from the physical device, the card format, to the mobile format, and replacing, transferring exactly the same applications that are present today onto the card into the mobile phone, and also adding more features, more interactivity, so it makes it, I think, much more appealing for students. So, mobile applications, where do we stand today in terms of mobile applications for universities? Well, first we need to define the basic needs. Many applications can be proposed today without any security, and already some universities have developed some mobile applications that they propose to their students for download without any security. This can be used for grades checking. It can be used for parking service. We will see later on that's one of the services proposed by the University of Murcia. It can be used to access to some universities' websites. So all this really doesn't require any specific security. Another level of mobile app is, for instance, what we have delivered with Banco Santander in Mexico, is the mobile banking application that can be downloaded by users and where users can have a look at their bank account, most recent transactions, do some internal transfer, and so on and so on. And there we have integrated into the mobile app a level of security based on OTP, one-time password, and really where we are using all the Gemalto experience in security to reinforce this mobile app. But we have to know that mobile apps are always vulnerable. Android has been hacked many times. Many people are trying to hack Android applications, and it's whatever the security that we can put in a mobile application, it will never be as secure as an application on a hardware. So that's the third point I'm mentioning here. Other applications really require a secure element, or a hardware element, where we will store the secrets. For instance, the contactless mobile payment, where we replicate exactly the same architecture as in the contactless card payment. So the EMV cards that are deployed on the field have a chip, and we use exactly the same type of chip in an embedded secure element with the same type of application, the same security. Okay? So this is the highest level of security because it is based on hardware. In transport, also it's very important to protect the secret keys from a transport operator and to store it in a secure element. And in access control, it's the same. Where do we store the MyFair unique ID number? Well, we need to store it into a secure element, and that's today the only way to really use MyFair applications. So, in summary, what we can say is that there is no need to wait for secure element, no need to wait for NFC. Universities can already start with many types of mobile applications. But it is important to keep in mind that for certain applications, NFC is needed, secure elements are needed, and we have the solution today. We have already done some pilots with a few universities using a secure element, that is the microSD. We will see it later on. So, continuing on this idea of different ways to secure an NFC solution. So, if we don't have an NFC phone, we can use a contactless EMV sticker. So that's basically the same as the University Smart Card that we deliver today, but we stick this card onto the phone, and by waving the phone in front of a reader, it behaves as if the phone itself had the NFC functionality. It's very simple, but it's also very well accepted. Many people are starting to use this type of stickers. The contactless microSD, it's a very nice way also to transfer what is on a physical smart card today into the phone. It's the same architecture. We use exactly the same chip, and the interesting point there is that the microSD remains in full control of the issuer, who can be the bank or the universities, or both together, as it's for the university smart card today. The SIM card is a very nice secure element because it's present in all mobile phones. The problem is that the SIM card belongs to the mobile operator, and if we want to use it, if we want to load some applications or to load some information into the SIM card, we need to get the authorization from the mobile operator, which is never free of charge. Same for the embedded secure element. For instance, Apple has decided to use an embedded secure element for its iPhone 6. So all the security is based into this secure element embedded into the hardware. The problem is that it's also 100% controlled by Apple. So anybody who would like to use this hardware, this secure element, needs to get Apple's authorization, and Apple has already made it very clear that for banks, for instance, banks would need to pay a fee to Apple to be able to load their secrets into the handset. And finally, the host card emulation. The host card emulation is something introduced by Google at the beginning of this year in February, where when they have launched their new Android OS, the 4.4, they have added this host card emulation functionality, which is a way to emulate a card. So to emulate the security of a card, and linking this, actually not really to emulate the security, but to emulate the behavior of a card. As we have seen in the first slide, the NFC technology or the NFC standards has been designed taking into account the communication between an NFC controller and a SIM card. So if there is no SIM card, HCE brings the possibility to emulate a card and therefore to bring the NFC functionality without any SIM card. So it's very interesting because it's a way to provide NFC functionality without any secure element, and it's very well adapted for many transactions, but not for transactions that require a high level of security. Again, high level of security means a hardware device, and then means a real physical secure element. So that's something that is needed. So we can see that none of these solutions is ideal today. Okay, so some have some benefits. What we think is the most adapted for the university environment is the microSD, because again it's in full control of the issuer. We know that there are quite a lot of phones on the market that have a microSD slot, and we have succeeded to replicate into this microSD exactly the same behavior and the same applications as in the university smart card. So the example of the University of Murcia, of the app TWI developed by the University of Murcia. We can see on the left the menu that shows different applications from this application. News, information about the card, personal data, booking, parking, e-purse, access control, the Santander wallet, that is the Santander way for paying goods using this application, points of interest, and so on. So App TWI is more than a mobile app. It's really a complete platform, a multi-university platform. It can be used in many universities. And it has been developed by the University Smart Card Research Center, by the Observatorio of Murcia in Spain. It is free of charge. It means that it can be delivered free of charge to any university participating to the Santander University program. It's secure, both because it is based on a secure architecture, but also because the data never goes through the Observatory or through Santander or through any other third party. The data remains in full control of the university using the app. It's scalable. We have seen a few examples of some services in the menu in the slide before, but there is a full service catalog that can be provided for universities. And it's also customizable. It means that each university can configure its look and feel through the web interface. Okay? So it's very important to communicate on that and to know that this app TWI is available, it works, it's free of charge, and we really encourage all universities working on the Santander University program to use this app, to test it, to do some pilots, and to adapt it to their own needs. So some universities, some services, are in the app TWI. We can see on the left wallet balance, that's the e-purse balance, and the last few transactions done with the e-purse. we can see the car park availability. So for students or teachers arriving in the morning, they can see immediately where there is a car park available with some space to park. Notifications and news, information about the university smart card, booking of some sport facilities, and Club TWI, which is an application that describes or that explains what discounts and offers are available for the members of the University Smart Card community. The wallet. So if you remember the menu we showed in the first slide on the left, you can see the different applications that are available through the mobile app, and one of them is the Wallet Santander. So the Wallet Santander is an interface that has been developed originally by Santander and adapted by the University of Murcia to support the microSD. So by selecting this option, the user, the card holder, or the banking customer can use its debit card. We can see in the middle the 4 last digits of the debit card, and it can use it to pay with a PayPass contactless reader, exactly the same way he would do with a contactless payment card. And on the right, you see the benefit of having this application on the phone is that the user can have a look at the historical of data, most recent transactions. So this is exactly the look and feel that you have with this Santander application. Okay, so this app TWI combined with NFC brings various services as we have seen. Those that need security are based on the secure elements in the microSD. We will see in more detail the technology of this microSD, but the main characteristics is that the microSD incorporates itself the NFC technology. So it means that you don't need an NFC phone. You need a phone with a microSD slot. It emulates the MyFair 4K exactly as the University Smart Card. It has 4 GB of storage for music, video, pictures, whatever, and it's ready for the PayPass payment. There is a video done by the University of Murcia that can be seen on this link, and that shows the access to building, access to offices, access to car park, bike rental, computer authentication, and printing. Okay, so it's a really nice video that has been done using this mobile app plus the microSD. So I think we have seen the most popular uses of the NFC in universities. We can probably go to the next one. Okay, so conclusions on the mobile applications. Well, first, the mobile applications provide a wide variety of services. Some of these services require some security, others don't. So we shouldn't think that all services need to be based on, that all mobile applications need to be based on NFC or on secure elements. No, we have to start, I would say, very simple, providing very simple services to the students, and progressively move to more services, replicating a little bit what we have in the smart card. But even for services that require security, we have implemented this solution. It works. It is based on a secure element inside the phone that is near the microSD. This microSD, just to give a little bit of details of how it is built, we have the NAND memory below, that is the memory of 4 GB, as in any microSD where the user can load its personal data, music, photos, etc. And we have a secure element, which is exactly the same chip as what we have in the university, in the Santander University Smart Card today. So This secure element has all the security of a banking device, and it is used to load the same secret as in the university smart card for banking application, for MyFair, for ePurse, whatever. And this secure element is connected to an antenna and also to a kind of booster. The booster is a kind of engine that will amplify the signal because, of course, the microSD is inside the phone, sometimes behind the battery, and the communication can be quite difficult. So we are amplifying the signal inside the microSD so that it can communicate with external readers. It has been quite a challenge from a technology point of view to put all this in this small device, but it works now quite well. We have made a lot of tests in various universities, and the results are very, very satisfactory. So we will have a few questions. I have already listed a few ones here, just to summarize a little bit the presentation. First question: do we need a secure element? The answer is no. We only need secure element for the applications that require security. We have described that in the slide 15. So those applications are basically the contactless mobile payment, the transport, and the access control. Are HCE and secure element opposed? HCE, as a reminder, is the standard or the type of technology introduced by Google at the beginning of the year. We see that Apple has chosen another way, using an embedded secure element. So are these opposed? I don't think so. I think that the two technologies can coexist, and it really depends on the level of security that a user needs to have. For no security at all, there is no need for HCE or for secure element. For limited security, very similar to barcode or MagStripe, HCE is enough. And for other applications, the secure element is recommended. Finally, what type of phone do we need? We need either an NFC phone, and we have seen that handset manufacturers are doing many efforts now to incorporate NFC in their new phones. But also we can use a phone with a microSD slot. So we see on the market a lot of handsets that have a microSD slot. All these phones can be transformed in NFC phones by adding the microSD that has already the NFC technology built in. And for HCE, we need handsets with Android 4.4 version or higher. Can we start now? Yes. The University Smart Card Research Centers have developed some applications. The University of Murcia provides some free solution, that is the AppTui we have seen before. You can use it right now, and a few universities have already started to use it with the support of the University of Murcia, and they seem to be very happy about it. So that's it on my side. I think that Jason, you're still the only one.
Okay then, Beltran, thank you very much for your presentation. Right now, if you want to, Jason, you can make some questions to Beltran.
I actually took a variety of notes as we were going along, so I've got a couple questions. Is that okay?
Sure. Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Great. My impression of the iPhone NFC capability was that it was quite limited. So, I heard what you said about banks having to pay into it, but is that something that Santander would do for this app, so that people with the iPhone 6s could still use it?
So I think that the iPhone 6, as you say, today it's limited to Apple Pay. It's limited to payment. And right. From what we know, it's limited to payment inside the US. Apple has made agreements with a few banks and, of course, the major brands, MasterCard, Visa, American Express, to use Apple Pay. but we have been discussing with quite a few banks in Europe and in other continents, and for the time being, there's absolutely no agreement or even no real discussion between Apple and the banks. So I think it will not be very easy to reach agreements in Europe, from what I've heard. In the US, I don't know what is Santander US position about Apple Pay. I don't know if they will join in, adapt it. But as you say, for the time being, it's quite limited.
Okay.
For instance, just to continue on that, I mean, if we would like to put a MyFair application onto an iPhone, today it's not possible.
Okay, got it. Or I just got like a Barclay credit card, and so it's one of those ones that is more European in that it's got that gold-colored patch on it that looks like a computer chip and has, I believe, RFID in it. And I was just curious about if I see a card that has that gold-colored patch on it, is that automatically something that has RFID in it?
No, usually, I mean, I think that all the Barclays cards are RFID, they are contactless. But you should see a small sign onto the card, a kind of wave that shows that it is contactless.
Okay.
And
I don't
and
have
also
it with
probably
me
on the
right
back.
now, but I can run and get it.
Okay, and probably also on the back of the card, it should say Pay Wave. I think that Barclays works mainly with Visa, so it probably says Pay Wave at the back of your card.
Okay. I'm actually at home, so I'm just running upstairs to grab my wallet.
Okay.
Okay, then, Jason, do you have any more questions?
There's actually a couple more, yes. While I'm getting this, I was curious if, like my phone has NFC in it already, and it's using Android 4.1.2. So is that, because I don't have that hardware HCE thing, I would still have to have that micro SD card to use the banking functionality?
Yes, either the micro SD or a SIM, but yes, you cannot use HCE if you don't have Android 4.4 or higher versions. I'm not even sure if there are any higher versions than 4.4, but at least 4.4.
Okay.
If you, I mean, Manu, if you can show slide number 10. You can see Jason on the right, the other one. 10 please.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can see Jason on the right, a small sign with a kind of wave.
Yeah.
And this should be on your Barclays card. If it's not, it means that it's not a contactless card.
Okay, I don't see that on it.
And do you see anything that says PayWave?
No, I don't.
It's a Visa card?
It's a MasterCard. Arrival Plus.
Or PayPass?
No, none of that.
No. Okay.
Huh,
So
maybe
it's
they're
not
not doing it in the U.S. That's okay.
It's not contactless.
For the micro SD cards, did you say that it's going to have 4 gig of memory on it as well?
Yes, the current version has 4 gigabytes. We can also have it with 8 gigabytes or 16. Then it's a question of price, of course. As I say, it was quite a challenge to put all these together in the same micro SD. We wanted to have some memory because, of course, if the user already has some photos or whatever in the micro SD, they will not want to get rid of that. So, but we know that 4 gigabyte may not be enough. But then it's a question of price. It gets much more expensive if we add more memory.
Got it. Okay. And then, if we want to start offering these in our bookstore, the bookstore is actually contracted through Barnes & Noble, or not Barnes & Noble, but the other B one. Is that something that is there something I can give to the bookstore manager for them to contact you and figure out how to start bringing these cards in?
Let me understand. What would be the use case? How would you use that in the bookstore?
If we want to start using some of the functionality within this app across the campus, yes. I'm trying to figure out how we can get people to be able to use it with their existing phones, and so of course that micro SD card is very interesting.
Yes.
But people would have to have a way to buy it, so I'm just trying to figure out if they could do it within our bookstore.
Okay, people like students, for instance, would go to the bookstore and would buy directly the micro SD.
Yes.
Yes, of course. I think it's. But then you would have to. Then they would use it for what? For access control, for instance, or.
Access control, yes. I know we're getting a Santander branch on campus as well. I've actually seen it in the upper campus at least. So I know that our ID cards have the dual functionality of a Bentley ID swipe as well as a Santander swipe, and then the RFID, of course. So I'm assuming that the wallet functionality will work with their Santander account.
Yes.
And I'm trying to. Go ahead.
No, but you're right. But then in this case, we need to personalize those micro SD. It's not an issue at all, but it's something that needs to be taken into consideration, and also the distribution mode needs to be taken into consideration, because if you get a micro SD and you want to pay with it, well, before we need to load your credentials into these micro SD, your banking credentials.
Got it. Okay.
So it's not difficult at all. It's something that we do in our personalization center, but then it's not something that you would buy through a bookstore. It's something that would be distributed to you by Santander or shipped to you. I don't know.
Okay. So we'll look into that more then. But basically what I'm trying to get to is something that I saw in Amsterdam back in 2007, where I was in a convenience store and people were just paying for the items that they wanted by waving their smartphone at the cash register. Is that something we'll be able to do eventually with what we've been talking about today?
We always have to think that at some point people need to download onto their phone their payment credentials.
Right.
So this can be done remotely. But then you need a kind of personalization system to make sure that this is sent to the phone in a very secure way. There are other ways, as what Apple is proposing, where actually Apple already has in the device a device account number. And then they do not load anything onto the device. They just extract the device account number and link it to a payment card.
Okay.
So it's a little bit like storing your credit card number onto the iTunes store, and then each time you pay, you don't need to enter your payment card number again. It's already in there. So it's a bit the same philosophy. But at some point, at some moment, there is a need for some kind of enrollment or provisioning, call it how you want, but where we need to link your credentials to your device.
Okay. I know that, for instance, in our cafeterias, it's the Blackboard cash registers, and we're purchasing readers for them so that they can do RFID as well as mag swipes and then the like. So we're getting very close to having the hardware in place. So I'm just trying to figure out what's left so that we can actually start being able to do that. I think the students would be very, very happy to see that functionality.
Yeah. Do you know if these Blackboard readers use MyFair technology or HID?
They're actually made to work with what we've got already on our ID cards, which is the Desfire EV1s.
Okay. Okay, interesting.
Nice.
So today our microSD does not support Deathfire, but it's in the roadmap. So I think that probably by next year it should be available with Deathfire. That would be a very, very excellent use case.
Okay.
Okay then. So I think we're just finishing. If you have any more questions, I just want to say thank you very much, Beltran, for your presentation, and also to Jason for coming, the only one today. But hopefully in the future we will have more attendance. I would like to say again, thank you very much. Thank you to Beltran and thank you to the bank, because thanks to them we can hold this presentation. So hopefully there will be many more in the future. So we will keep in contact, Jason, and that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and see you in the future.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye.
See you. Bye. Bye.